Our goal was to get from Milwaukee, Wisconsin to the southern end of Florida by the end of hurricane season. That led us to planning Michigan in July, Canada in August, the Northeast in September, the East Coast in October, and the Southeast in November, leading us ultimately to Marathon Keys. First up was the Great Lakes and the Georgian Bay, where we met up with friends and got our first lesson in how to overnight anchor. It was a thunderous start to our first day as we left Milwaukee, but we were comforted by a card given by friends that said, "I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning how to sail my ship." And that was so true that day. We did make it safely to Kewaunee, Wisconsin, to set the stage for the next day to cross Lake Michigan. Well, our first attempt this morning, we head out thinking there were supposed to be 1 to 2 foot waves, and it was actually, we'd say 4 or 5. The swells were definitely 4 or 5. So we only got maybe a mile out, turned around, came back in, waited it out at the dock here in Kewaunee, and decided now it looks like it's flattened out, so you can see. We're about to pull into Petoskey, Michigan. As you can see out here, the waves are quite big, and we're coming into the marina. And the challenge, I think, for us is going to be that we're dealing with about 18 to 20 knot winds. Once we get to the dock, hopefully it calms down a little bit, but that's going to make for some fun docking, I think. Hopefully we don't swear too much. We end every boat passage with a boat washdown, and in this case we were prepping the boat for some old friends and bandmates of mine from high school and their wives for some laughs and fun.
Mom and Dad, the things that'll make you cry. The kids ain't here. The kids ain't here. Mom and Dad went out one night, never came home past the middle of the night. Tell you couldn't they, but the kids ain't here, and I say it again.
Kids ain't here. Kids ain't here.
After a few days with friends, we headed out to continue on with our journey. This is a trip all about building stages of learning, and here you can see Amy is learning how she's going to get her exercise in while we're underway.
That's not nice. He's taping her.
Yay! Woo! Oh, Dad!
Just watching her. Where you headed?
I know! Holy smokes. Yay!
We met up with our boat buddies from the boat Naughty Life, who taught us the ways of anchoring and provisioning using a stern anchor to help stabilize the boat. And wow, the very first night of our time in the North Channel gave us the most spectacular view. The next day we checked into Canada for a really smooth process. It involved just using our phone and an iPhone app. And here our buddy boat, Naughty Life, guided us into the Benjamin Islands to find our very first anchorage. Later, we navigated our way into the Bustard Islands for some more beautiful anchoring. this is Amy and Marvin on Sull'Acqua, and we're about to enter our very first lock. And we're super excited about that. It's the smallest lock on the Trent-Severn, so we're about to enter the Trent-Severn, leaving here from Midland, Ontario. And a couple things to note on this particular part of the journey for us is that the markers for us are going to flip. In other words, the red buoy is typically on the right when you're returning to port. In this case, they're going to flip a couple times for us. So Amy's come up with a pretty clever little thing with her many post-it notes that she likes to have. We're using colors to help me remember as we're navigating which side red is going to be on. So anyway,
Post-it notes are the best.
they are.
We also have a list of the locks in our waterway guide. So these are all the locks we're going to go through over the next 10, 14 days, depending on how long we last. And then we also have this wonderful map of the Trent-Severn Waterway. So it's kind of long, it's windy, and it's supposed to also be beautiful. So we're very excited about doing this.
And we've got our many tools in place for navigating. This is a very, very challenging area here. Lots and lots of rocks and shallow areas that are literally maybe a foot below our boat. So it's going to be a particularly challenging one for us. But again, we're super excited, and here we're about to go. We'll fill you in on some footage of us doing our first lock. And we were successful with the help of the lock masters. All of them are great there on the Trent-Severn.
We got time on our side. We're in a state of hope. I need you on my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way.
We learned the importance of doing security calls on the radio to alert boats coming down these narrow channels to be cautious. In this case, you can see a boat coming toward us here on a turn in this very narrow channel, and definitely made it more interesting trying to navigate that.
And I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come as a surprise that with you I feel alive. You'll be the last one I think about. We got time on our side. We're in a state of hope. I need you on my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way. And I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come as a surprise that with you I feel alive. You will be the last one I think about. When it all breaks down, I'll wait for you right here. And I swear that we got nothing to fear. It's a miracle that you and I are finally here. I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come as a surprise that with you I feel alive. You will be the
Having learned our lesson from the earlier narrow channels that we were on, we made the appropriate early on security calls, alerting all boats coming in our direction to hold back and wait to enter until we were able to exit. And thankfully we did so, because as you can see, this was exceptionally narrow and we had boats that in fact heard us and waited. We knew some of the bridges we'd encounter would be short, and that's why we added the electronic hinge on the mast.
You're good. I don't think you have to worry on either. You're good. You're totally good. Even the other part, but I would still work. Move to the right a little. Just to make sure. But I think you're getting under that other thing too. You are.
Some of the lock entrances could get rather challenging when the wind and the current take over, as demonstrated here.
Take it too far, now I dwell in the sand like a fish on land.
Well guys, it's Happy Glasses Day. Take a look outside. Well first, here's the weather radar screen.
Over here.
Right there. Oh,
Wow.
It went away.
There it goes.
There it is.
A red cell of weather straight ahead of us to the port side.
Oh my god, there it is.
We felt some vibration with the props, so we hired a diver to come and inspect, and sure enough, we had a dinged up prop from the Trent-Severn. So we had the boat hauled out and the blades replaced. We entered back into the United States through Oswego, New York. And after having completed such challenging locks in Canada, that being 37 regular ones, 2 flight locks, 2 of the world's largest or highest hydraulic lifts, and 1 marine railway lock, we were up for the challenge that the Oswego and Erie Canal would bring us, with 7 on the Oswego and 23 locks on the Erie Canal. And of course, many other new challenges we'll discover. Lock 18, this is 52-foot motor vessel Sull'Acqua requesting passage eastbound with a boat that's following me as well. So the lock master has responded and has opened the gate here for us to go eastbound. Our approach now is to come in very slowly so that we don't bring any wake in with us, as that'll slow down the whole process. We have to wait till there's no water movement before they'll operate the lock. But we have a boat coming in behind us as well, and that boat needs space, and we want the space as well. So we're going to pull up on the starboard side. We've got our ropes ready. Amy's gone around and set up our ropes and our stick, and we'll hold with those with their gloves on and pray for the best.
Gotta have your gloves on. Yeah.
Our next lock was Lock 19, and this one was a particular challenge because not only did we have, of course, the lock and a boat behind us, but this was a very low bridge, and right after it was an obstacle, a big log in the way.
Good thing I'm in good shape.
We were thrilled at our next stop to discover we were parked right next to Rev and Sam from What Yacht to Do. We've been following them on their YouTube channel for the last few years and prepping us for our big trip. Shortly after that, we were blessed with great friends joining us on our trip from Albany, New York down to New York City. We had such a great time with them.
All right, here she is. She's running the lock. Way to go, Ann.
They got to see firsthand some of the challenges that we were facing on this long trek.
So Captain at an underbridge. First mate making sure
First mate.
We're gonna
we make it under the bridge.
We'll make it, we'll make it.
Does it look good?
Yeah, so far. It's got an optical illusion there. Here. Yeah, you got it. That was easy peasy. Okay.
So,
Let's see what you got
above
there.
this spot, we have something mounted that's 15 inches tall.
15.
So that's what we're watching.
Uh-huh.
And it's in right over you.
And had this radar thing been up, we would have knocked it down.
Oh.
I think you had 18 inches there, maybe.
Thank you, Ann and Rich, for joining us down the Hudson and exploring New York City. We had a great time. Next up was heading out into the Atlantic Ocean for the very first time for a 138-mile run down to the Delaware Bay. And as you can see, we picked a perfect day to be out on the Atlantic. 9 hours and 137 miles later, we arrived in Cape May, New Jersey. The following morning, we set sail again to head up the Delaware Bay. But wait, we heard that Hurricane Ian was coming up our way. We thought we'd hunker down in Annapolis, Maryland. We had a chance to reconnect with family in Annapolis, along with one of Amy's old childhood friends. And while we were out exploring with our Williams jet tender, we came upon a sailing vessel at anchor from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So now we have new friends from an old place. We used this time in Annapolis to do some boat maintenance, here changing out the odor filters from the black water tanks. And with the discovery of a lot of jellyfish in this area, we had some new maintenance to do. Alright, let's see if we got any jellyfish in here. I think we do. Thus, I put some gloves on to help prevent me from getting stung by them. From what I hear, you can still get stung from them even when they're dead. And if they're in here, they've been getting churned around pretty good, so it would be a miracle that they're alive still, or they just got in here recently. So let's take a look. I see some kind of creamy colored things in there, which give me the impression that maybe there is a jellyfish in here or two. And there certainly are enough of them swimming around the boat that I wouldn't be surprised if there was something in here. Alright, here we go. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, definitely some jellyfish in here. Oh my gosh, actually a lot. I don't know if you can see them. Oh boy, man, this is a lot. It's just full of jellyfish. This is why I'm wearing gloves. Other than some higher than normal tidal swings, Ian turned out not to be too big of a deal for us up here in Annapolis, so after 2 weeks, we went ahead and moved on, down the Chesapeake. This trip has presented itself with many amazing sunsets, but nothing quite like this one, where we had not only a gorgeous sunset, but we had a gorgeous moon rise. Here, a full moon looking like the sun coming up on the other side. Next up was the East Coast and the Intracoastal Water Way system.
Sull'Acqua Bridge. This is motor vessel Sull'Acqua. We have cleared the bridge. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.
Captain, you have a great day as well.
Here in Charleston, South Carolina, parked on the mega dock, which is filled with mega yachts. And here you can see a Harley Davidson motorcycle being lowered down from one of them. And then we had a visit from another VIP, our daughter, who joined us for a week as we made our way down from Charleston to Savannah. And there were plenty of opportunities for Olivia to see firsthand many of the inconsiderate types of boaters we had to endure on this trip. How can you not love a day when you wake up to a beautiful sunrise such as this in Beaufort, South Carolina, to arrive in Hilton Head, South Carolina with a wonderful sunset like this. Here Olivia is taking a picture of it on the dock. I typically update Active Captain, which is a community contributed content provider for hazards, every time we take off for a trip. We stage our departures by doing loose ties to the dock such that Amy could then detach us from the docks without having to step back onto the dock as we're pulling away. This gives us the ability to do it ourselves and keep safe doing it. And when we depart, Amy and I both wear headsets so we can talk to each other. And they're called marriage savers. got like many different things going on here to help me navigate the intracoastal. I've got aqua maps here, which is showing me the red shoals. Those are the areas obviously I got to stay away from because they're extra shallow. But probably most important in all of this is a guy named Bob Scherer, I think his name is, and he publishes a blog called Bob423, and he then puts his tracks out there of what he knows to be the best route on these. As you can see, I've got an autopilot route that's in red here, but this little dash line shows you Bob's route. So what I do is I watch my auto routing and then I adjust it to Bob's track when I need to. This is giving me yet another view. It's like a depth view. They call it fish view. It's viewing it from under the boat, theoretically. But anyway, I use all these different tools to get through here because this is wicked. Shoaling and a tide that swings 8 feet in this area. So there you have it.
There's two catamarans right in front of one of them. Right now we're starboard side tide if it's about into the current.
Roger that.
I'll be down here next line.
All right, I'll stand by on 6-8.
How are y'all?
Good morning. We're great. What a beautiful day. We're so lucky.
It was a little foggy this morning,
Whoa, was it?
but it cleared up.
Not in Hilton Head. It was
good.
beautiful. It's a nice, easy ride today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'll let you know when to stop, sir. I need you to come up just a little more. Alright, that's good right there.
As seen in these before and after pilings, we saw 8-foot tidal changes in Isle of Hope near Savannah. Next up is the southeast. Sometimes you really can't just predict what you're going to see on the waterway here. Here we're on a curve on a very narrow channel with 2 large, very, very long barges coming up and around the bend. We hugged the side so we could give them plenty of room to make their turns.
Good morning from Sull'Acqua. We just left Jekyll Island, Georgia. It was a beautiful one-nighter. We rode around the island and it was real pretty if you haven't been there. We're heading towards Fernandina Beach this morning and getting ready to face Nicole. She was just a named storm from the National Hurricane Center. So we're thinking about what to do. We're going to a place that we hope has good tie-ups, and the winds are not predicted to be really, really strong, but we don't really know what that means. 40 miles an hour for a couple days. Maybe it'll be different than that by the time she rolls up through Jacksonville. What are your thoughts, Marvin?
Well, right now we're heading out into the Atlantic, at least in the Sound. That is the separation between Jekyll Island and Cumberland Island. And the seas don't look too bad right now, but obviously they're going to be changing over the next couple of days. And we're hoping Fernandina will be a good hold-up for us, where we can tie up nice and strong and work our way through it.
It's been a wonderful run down the Carolinas and through Georgia. It really is such beautiful scenery and beautiful waters and the marshes, and had a really good time doing all of that. And now we're like a little different focus. So,
To say the least.
to say the least.
You can see here on my navigation screen I have satellite weather. You can see the hurricane growing there from Nicole, or what will probably be a hurricane, and where our boat is positioned up here on the north end.
It was almost surreal to see some of the beautiful creatures coming along the dockside feeding as if it were a normal day, the calm before the storm. With the hurricane approaching, we were bouncing pretty good on the outside dock here, so we requested a move to the inside right when the 30-some-mile-an-hour wind started picking up. Fortunately, though, there was a nice space here tucked inside that gave us calmer waters. We moved on shore for the first time in nearly 5 months, where we could watch from afar and be safe. After the storm passed, the city manager and his team stopped by to give us the all clear to board our boat. All was good. The all clear gave us the opportunity to reconnect with our buddy boat friends from Big Idea 3.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed.
And while in Daytona Beach, we were fortunate enough to be close enough to be able to see the Artemis rocket launch, and we could view it from the back of our boat. What a spectacular sight that was. We continued on our trek down the Intracoastal in Florida, on our way to Fort Lauderdale and then Miami. And we journeyed on to our final stretch of our trip to the bottom of Florida. Conditions were so perfect for travel that day that we decided to skip Key Largo and went all the way to 126 miles in 7 hours to get to Marathon.